Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. I'd like to call the May 28th meeting of the Nsdp to order. First order of business is to approve the minutes of our April 23rd meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the April 23rd Nsdp meeting. Those in favor signify by raising your hand.
Can I just jump in for a moment?
Yes, PJ.
I was marked as absent and I was there.
Yeah.
So if we could amend that before we vote, I would appreciate it.
Oh, okay, great. There's a motion to approve and seconded to the minutes of April 23rd with the caveat that PJ was noted as being absent and he was present at the meeting. With that change, I'd like to take a vote on approving the minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Thank you. With that, I'll move on to Alex to take us through the agenda items.
Thank you, Chair Williams. So we have two action items today. Brandy will go ahead and start sharing her screen, and I'll kind of walk you through some background of the two items that you're going to see before you today. So these two contracts will represent the very last contracts that we'll be putting in place for our summer 2020 work. And they're not projects, or these are not contracts that we had necessarily intended to fall into this timing. They're certainly a little bit later than we'd like them to be. But you might remember at the last meeting, me telling you about some of the challenges we've had with getting successful bids on our security projects. And so item 4.01 is a rebid that we did of one of the unsuccessful earlier bids. I won't get into too much detail on that just now. We'll touch on that when we get into it. And then item 4.02 is an additional asphalt contract. So when school was initially closed and we weren't quite sure what the duration was going to be, we did start talking about the opportunity to leverage that time when we're not running buses, because we're not right now, to be able to do some pretty significant deferred maintenance on our transportation sites, our bus compounds. So when we became aware that school would be closed the duration of the school year, and now it looks like there won't even be any bus runs over the summer for summer school, there's certainly a pretty nice opportunity that we wouldn't typically have to be able to get a significant amount of asphalt work done at our bus compound. So we went ahead and ran another indefinite quantity asphalt contract, and that's the real purpose behind that. We did kind of maneuver a few of our school sites to be able to get one of our bus compounds under contract presently, but item 4.02 will largely be asphalt paving at our Freebus bus compound, which is down on the south end of town, and our Fort Hays bus compound at the Center City location. But with that, I will let my team walk you through each of those two items.
Just a point of order, Alex, if you don't mind. On the agenda, there's discussion item 3, which I want folks to know that we will get to that after we deal with the action items and section 4.
Correct, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you.
Action item 4.01, which is the award of general contract to Miles McClellan. Ansley Stevenson will be presenting that. So with that, I will let her take over and she will present 4.01.
Thank you, Brandy. Could you stop sharing so I can go ahead and share my screen?
Yep.
Okay. This project is for the security upgrades at Fairwood K through 6, Linden STEM, Forest Park Elementary School, Devonshire Elementary School, Valley Forge Elementary School, and Valley View Elementary School. As Alex mentioned, we did have to rebid this project. Our first bid, we only received one bidder, and their bid was actually 10% over our estimated construction cost. So we were not able to award at that time. After we were unsuccessful, we repackaged the bid into 2 smaller packages with 3 sites each and the option to combo those. We were hoping this would make the bid more attractive to smaller companies that didn't have as much bandwidth. Group 1 sites were Fairwood, Linden, Stem, and Valley View. And Group 2 sites were Devonshire, Forest Park, and Valley Forge. We did that because actually Devonshire, Valley Forge, and Forest Park all have the same floor plan. So they have a very similar solution. We also got the feedback from our first bid that they didn't have quite enough time to get enough numbers from subcontractors. So when we rebid it, we gave them a much longer bid window with the hope that more contractors could get numbers from their subcontractors and be more interested in the bid. Our first item on our checklist here is the advertisement. This is the short advertisement that goes into the dispatch. And it basically just directs the prospective bidders to our district website. And we run this ad 2 times, 1 week apart. And you can see the dates there at the bottom of the advertisement. And then basically that same information gets posted on Ohio MBE's website. And once again, directing those bidders to the district website. And once those bidders get to the district website, this is the longer advertisement that is listed. This gives them information on estimated construction costs, meeting times and locations, and where bid documents can be obtained. Here you can see our estimated costs for the 2 packages. For Group 1, it was $249,457, and our estimate for Group 2 was $358,235. We also show them information on meeting location. So here highlighted, you can see the pre-bid conference, which we held virtually, and we gave them the meeting location and time. Also, since we've kind of transitioned to working from home and we've been accepting bids electronically rather than in person, we've also posted directions on how to use the district's public purchase website on that district advertisement to give them a little heads up about how that system works. So that's what you're seeing here. Our next item is the pre-bid agenda and sign-in sheets. So I've just included here our default schedule that we included with the pre-bid. This just gives prospective bidders a little bit more information on all the dates that are associated with this bid. So we show them when bids are due, when the post-bid review will be held. We give them our dates for technical oversight, Nsdp, and board approval, and let them know when work on site can begin and when work on site needs to be completed. This is the sign-in sheet from the pre-bid meeting. We had representation from 4 companies. And after the meeting, we do post the agenda to the district website for any vendor that was unable to attend so they can get the same information. Our next item here is our bid tab. Miles McClellan and Elford were the 2 contractors that submitted bids for this one. As you can see from the bid tab, Miles McClellan was our low bidder on both groups 1 and 2, as well as the combination. Their bid fell 8.11% under our estimated construction costs on group 1, 17.48% below on group 2, and 13.64% below on our combination. So we were able to award to Miles. We did a post-bid review with Miles McClellan and our architect, Phil Stiles from Moody Nolan, and he did recommend awarding to Moody Nolan, and this is his recommendation letter. We held that post-bid review the same day as we opened the bids, just later in the afternoon on May 15th. Our next item here is the legislation, and it's recommending the award of a $524,827 contract to Miles McClellan. This is our first page of the contract with Miles McClellan. We are utilizing our standard construction contract for this project. Last but not least is our LEDE Form A. This is what Miles McClellan submitted with their bid. Their participation is going to meet the district's 20% goal. Miles McClellan is an LEDE vendor as a prime, but they're also planning to subcontract at least 20% of the project to LEDE subcontractors. When we conducted a meeting with them, it looks like those subcontractors will be doing the electrical, masonry, and concrete work to equal around 20% of the overall contract. And this is Terry Wise, our Community Inclusion Coordinator's signature on that LEDE Form A. And that concludes kind of the presentation items for CCS project 20006 for secure vestibule upgrades at Fairwood, Linden Stem, Forest Park, Devonshire, Valley Forge, and Valley View.
Angela, thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments regarding the presentation or the project? Okay, hearing none, like to entertain a motion to approve.
Jeff Mormon says, I'll move.
Thanks, Jeff. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Patrick Herrick, second.
Okay, thank you. So moved and seconded to approve project 20006. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you much. Let's move on to the next one.
The next item we have is item 4.02, which is award of general contract to Sheedy Paving Incorporated for the Operation Fix It Indefinite Quantity Asphalt Paving Contract Phase B project. And that project number is 2001B, and Lori Seeger will be presenting that.
As you can see, we have a slightly shorter list. We advertised on in the dispatch on the 4th and the 11th of May. We also have advertised on the Ohio MBE website, directing them to us. Our website, where we detailed, because this is an indefinite quantity, we just told them where to get their plans, when the meetings would be, and that the total value of this contract could be up to 3.7 million, depending on how much work we actually do. Again, we went over the fact that this is a virtual bid and that they will have to submit everything electronically. The value of the contract could be up to 3.7 million. The pre-bid was held virtually, and the information on how to get to it was there. We held a virtual pre-bid meeting. This is the schedule we gave them. And this is who attended. We had one bidder, Sheedy Paving. This is a weighted score. So their score came in at $97,377.21. This is the legislation that will be presented to the board, recommending the contract amount of $3.7 million, not to exceed. This is the working contract. Again, it is our standard contract. They submitted their LEDE form at the bid, and they are anticipating a 20% participation. And they do that primarily through trucking, because we have to haul a lot of stuff away and we have a lot of asphalt to haul in. And this is where it has been approved by Terry. Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, thanks, Lori. Appreciate it much. Seeing that there's no questions or comments, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve.
I motion to approve.
Okay, Anthony, thank you. Is there a second?
Jeff Mormon, second.
Thank you, sir. It's been moved and seconded to approve project 200018 or 20018. Is there a, my apologies, I got a little lost in my own translation here. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, oppose? Okay, thank you. So we've gone through the action items. We're moving back to item 3, discussion items. Alex, you want to kick that off?
Alex, you're muted.
Thank you. So what we'd really like to do with the rest of our time today is to kind of leverage the diverse group here we have to just kind of have a roundtable discussion around challenges and perhaps opportunities or lessons learned that you might have encountered over the past several months as a result of this pandemic. Our various, myself and my colleagues have been broken into various working groups, and we are working through logistical plans on how we reopen in the fall. I don't think it's any mystery. I think you've probably all seen the very well publicized efforts the district has made to get our virtual learning academy up and running, to distribute Chromebooks. I probably have the number wrong, but I think at last count we were closing in on 19 to 20,000 Chromebooks distributed. The effort to make sure that we're able to continue providing food service. I think that plan might tweak a little bit this summer, based on the fact that we typically kind of hand that service off to Rex and Park, and they've got their own challenges. So I know there are many things that are already in play across the district. I've had the opportunity to participate in a couple kind of thought-provoking sessions that some of our vendors have sponsored. I've actually got one later today to help give me some perspective on things that other school districts are doing across the country. So I hope at least some of you might be willing to share some of the things that you've encountered either personally or professionally, to just kind of help us perhaps learn some things that we could implement ourselves. So I know sometimes it is not the simplest to have a big dialogue virtually. So if you are not familiar with this feature in Zoom, at the bottom of your screen under participants, you should have the option, if you click that, to virtually raise your hand. So if I could get individuals who are interested in sharing to virtually raise your hand, I'll be watching the waiting room, and then I will call upon you and you can unmute yourself. But again, I'd really just like to hear what perspective you each have from your own life that you can share with us today. So I'm hoping somebody will raise their hand here. All right, fantastic. So I've got Dr. Herrick, I think, was first.
I'll just start with, we're still at Ohio State, not 100% sure what the plans are for the autumn, as far as how much students will be on campus. So one of the things we're really looking at least from our end, is in the curriculum, what are the main course goals that we have? Which ones are, easy to accomplish online and virtually, and which ones present more of a challenge? For us in first year engineering, it's the design project, because we like to have students design and build an object and test it. And so we're looking at options for doing virtual testing, creating a model, using software, using some finite element analysis to evaluate how that model works, and potential different ways of doing things. So it does provide a challenge, I think, especially for lab courses, and my wife's a music teacher, and for trying to perform with music. We're actually in the middle this week of trying to do our virtual youth band that we do every year. We actually do it in person, but this year we're meeting with the students online and have guest speakers. And our tutors did private lessons or group lessons even with some of the students yesterday. So that was kind of an interesting challenge, but it's something I think takes a little bit of practice and work, and provides some of a challenge. But if you focus on what are the main 5 or 6 main things you need the students to get out of a course, and focus on those rather than the small details, and how you can reinforce those, I think it helps a lot.
Thank you for the comments. Anthony Jones.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Alex, I appreciate saying a few words. I have to say, my family and I have been very pleased with the online curriculum that the school has been able to provide to my daughter. She's in first grade. And now my wife and I are at home with a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. So it's been kind of tough to manage their expectations of always wanting to play. But the curriculum online was very thorough. We were able to complete everything, and she actually misses it, and she's trying to find new things to do for online learning throughout the summer. So I think that's a tremendous success when your first grader wants to do some work in the summer still. So we've been very pleased. A lot of my friends from different districts around the region have not had the same experience. So I just wanted to commend you on being prepared as an organization to convert to online learning. The teachers have been phenomenal. A lot of community activities to keep that connection there. The saddest part is for her, she says, is not seeing her friends anymore. But she was able to have online activities and being able to whether it's having music in front of your house or people driving by, things like that. So the district and the PTA have been very, very proactive. So I want to commend you on that. I think it's a testament to, flexibility of the organization and your commitment to learning no matter where the student is. So good work.
Thank you so much. No, thank you so much for the feedback. Curtis Williams.
Thank you, Alex. Good morning again, everyone. Alex, as you know, we have a small corporation. We employ 8 people, and in a location on Parsons Avenue. We've been working remotely from home, since the middle of March. And I anticipate us doing the same through June, through the month of June. I tell you, I don't know where to start. We've got issues that kind of sort of pop up all over the place. Technology is not really one of those. We have been preparing ourselves for a while to do this. So to transition from the office to home technology-wise was not an issue for us at all. I think I know what I'm learning through this whole process is the HR component of this, the people side of this, that is really, really critical. We have again, 8 folks that cover the demographic spectrum. And what I learned is important to stay in touch with folks. I think people need that. They need to be able to have while they're working from home, they're working individually. There's still a team aspect in terms of getting work done. But you've got to ensure that people feel that way, that they're connecting themselves not only with the work, but with the other members of the team. We constantly do Zoom meetings. We have calls, and when we do a Zoom meeting, even though it's business related, I let my team take 15 minutes to just giggle, to talk about one another, to share crazy things that's happened in their lives. And trust me, I have a hard time cutting that 20 minutes off to get to some business, because people like sharing and I like talking about that part of themselves. And that's what we can't forget, that we're still dealing with the folks and that we got to let them share, that we have to let them engage. I don't know if you can overdo that, but you can certainly underdo it and it becomes a problem. And because we just recently had to terminate someone a couple of days ago. And it's a young lady who we were really high on and wanted to work with her to further her career. And she had all the great skill sets and so forth. But there was something that was a little off kilter. And we knew going into it but we tried to reach her, and it was impossible to do given this scenario. And that disappoints me. But we've tried everything, and it just didn't work. But I really need to stay in contact with each other. If doing Zoom, that's fine. Zoom works. Doing whatever works. Talking constantly works. But somehow we got to through this pandemic, we've got to find ways to safely connect and to give people an opportunity to still be human. And we're not robots. We can't go to that extreme. So we've got to figure something out. And I can go on and on to some other issues, but I will just leave it there. But I really that has something that really surfaced with our team. And we're struggling. Well, we're not struggling with it. We know what to do if we were close together. But while this provides the most personal avenue to interact, it's not a personal way to interact. My thoughts.
No, I love the perspective. I would completely agree that it's very easy to take work from home to the extreme, and there is obviously that water cooler talk, the coffee pot talk that somehow just gets lost. And yeah, I think that personal connection is one that's easy to overlook. So I appreciate the comments. So I don't have any other hands raised right now. I don't know if anybody else has anything else they would like to add to the discussion. If you don't know how to use the raise your hand feature, you can certainly just unmute your microphone as well. So I've got Jeff Mormon just raised his hand.
Hey, everybody. So I had we have a relatively unique experience living in Franklinton in this, and having been here for a little over a decade and watching the gentrification occur during that time. But so I'm maybe a little more conscious or aware of this. But just the idea of the things that are shut down versus open and what are coming back, I think is exacerbating some of the haves versus have-nots. People that are lucky enough to have a house with a backyard and have a playground set is great for the kids and the exercise they can get and the activity they can have during that time. But those that are an apartment with little outdoor space, or that would have to use a city public playground, but they're all closed. I mean, there's so much, I think, of a dichotomy now of when the kids return in the fall. Some kids will have an experience that isn't too dissimilar from the one that they would otherwise expect. In fact, maybe they were lucky that they had their parents home a little more and enjoyed that time to play with them. But other kids are going to have been basically denied all of the things that would be healthy activities that are active, that are being outside and being at playground or pools or whatever it is, ball fields. And I am concerned, and I'm assuming that the school system is looking at ways to address that when the kids do return in the fall, if they return in the fall. And I think that, I don't know how you can social distance some of this stuff, but hopefully they can get some more outside or exercise time so that there's some of that pent up energy that all youth seem to have will have an outlet so that they can actually be able to pay attention and learn when the fall comes.
Yeah, thank you so much for that perspective. I just it doesn't necessarily speak to your last comments, but I think that's one of the things that we have seen too, is that right, it makes the socioeconomic division all the more clear. Most of us, obviously, we all take the internet almost for granted unless it goes out. But our families who just don't have access to it at all, much less access to a device. And so then, right, how does learn from homework? How does a virtual academy work if you can't provide those same tools? So thank you very much for the perspective. So I don't have any other hands raised, so we can certainly yield everybody back the rest of their morning if there's no further discussion.
Okay. Well, thank you all for those who have commented, and let's move on. There's not much other structured business. I'd like to move down to item number 6. Jennifer Adair, good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. I am well. Hope you all are. I don't know if any of you tuned in to the discussions of the millage committee, but Alex did a wonderful job with his presentation, and I know that a lot of that is due to your work as well. So I just wanted to again thank you for your service to our district. Just to kind of touch on a few comments that were made. Mr. Jones, I don't know if you know, we have summer school online, so your daughter can certainly keep up her learning. You can sign up through the parent portal. And yesterday, because of the comment about, getting out and being active and screen time, which I think we're all becoming more aware of, even me as a grown-up, I just sit in front of these all day. Yesterday, we actually partnered with OSU Life Sports and passed out sports in a bag to students at Linden McKinley when they picked up their food, because it's a problem about getting our kids active. So there are these things that you mentioned, and the socioeconomic challenges are certainly, it's there. And the district, as Alex said, has put together teams of task forces to kind of address these issues. So all of your comments were very spot on. And I'm very appreciative. And I'm just appreciative of all the work that you do and you bringing your expertise to our district so that we can, do the best that we can for our children. I don't know if you were paying any attention to what the millage committee said, but they have issued some recommendations to us. One of those was to, again, launch the facility master plan task force. So the board has yet to move on any of those recommendations. We have a meeting that will be set up in a few weeks. But I know that some of that work will come back maybe to some of you. Maybe you will be interested in participating in that. And certainly that's the purpose of this committee. So the work is so important, and we have lots more to do. So again, just thank you so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Mr. Adair, thank you so much for your comments. I really appreciate the work that you guys are doing. And I cannot imagine any bigger challenge than what you guys are dealing with. And we certainly appreciate what you're trying to do and doing. Is there someone from the administration that'd like to make a couple comments? Okay, then with that, I think that's all we have on our agenda. Alex, is there anything additional?
No, that is all for today.
Okay, then with that, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. I'm gonna do it anyway, whether I get a motion or not. I just want you to know that. Okay. Thank you guys for everything. Be safe and be healthy, and we look forward to talking to you soon. All right, meeting is adjourned.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
All right,
everyone.
guys. Thank you. Bye.